Hi, welcome back. Today we'll be working on upper shoulders opening, approaching Pincha Mayurasana. So showing different variations, what areas we have to be aware of, how we can get more connection and more lift. Okay, so for today you'll have a chair and a strap. Have one extra mat, thin mat if you have it, or a blanket, and then have 2 blocks. All right, let's get started. Before we start our practice, I wanted to let you know about my online programs and workshops. Whether you're new to Iyengar yoga and want to learn the basics in a systematic way, a seasoned practitioner looking to revisit the essentials, or a yoga teacher seeking inspiration. These programs and workshops are self-paced, allowing you to make consistent progress and revisit specific topics whenever you like. You can find the link in the description below. With that said, let's begin our practice today. Okay, we're going to start by having the chair at the wall, and I've taken the strap around the back of the chair here. So we're going to use this to extend our arms. I'm sitting on a folded blanket, and I'm going to sit in Dandasana. So as I sit here, I'm just bringing the flesh of the buttocks back, sitting directly on the sitting bones, spreading the buttocks, and then I have that chair right at the shoulder blades. So if you're quite tall, maybe you're going to need a little bit extra height or have to build the chair up with some blocks. Okay, I'm going to reach around here, take the strap, take the end of the strap, and I want to, as I start to move my arms back, keep the legs active. So I'm in Dandasana, thighs are moving down, extending out through the heels, spread the toes, and then as I hold onto that strap, I'm going to bring the elbows towards one another. So here you want this outer arm working. We'll be using this later, this awareness from the flesh to the muscle to the bone, that firmness. So your elbows aren't out to the side, but you're getting that rotation from the outer arm to the inner arm. So as you hold onto that strap, just be there and feel the shoulder blades. Move the shoulder blades and the back ribs in, lift the front chest, and then one at a time, start to walk one hand over the other. And then I'm going to hold on to that hand, and then I'm going to walk that hand back a little bit, just be there. And from there, spreading, opening the armpit chest. So I'm getting that broadness there. I have the shoulder blades moving down and forward. So you have that connection with the upper back. And then I'm going to walk down a little bit more, and take the other hand back. Each time I do that, I'm aware of that chair, lifting the chest away from that chair, but still having the resistance of that chair to inform me for the lift of the chest, and then elbows towards one another. So you're not moving them in so much, but you have that connection from the elbow to the shoulder. And then one more time, walking the hand over. If you can catch the chair, the chair is right up against the wall. Maybe you can't catch the chair, but come back as far as you can. And then drop the shoulders, lift the back of the head, and look up. So important, whenever you're taking your head back, you're keeping the neck long, especially in the back. You know, sometimes you may feel you're very flexible, you just throw the head back. But here, we want the shoulder blades to move down. We want the top of the shoulders and the skin to move down, lengthen the neck. Keep the thighs descending and lift the chest. Keep the outer arms firm. And then release. And just take a break. So have a few breaths there. That can be quite strong, especially if you've got some tightness in your shoulders. So we're working on opening the shoulder, but having that connection to get this spreading of the armpit. So we're aware of the shoulder blades and how they need to move forward, and the chest has to lift. Let's do it one more time. So bring your arms up, walk the hands up the strap, all the way, extend the arms, feel the shoulder blades, feel that chair, descend the backs of the hips. So one thing I didn't mention, if you're too far away from the chair, you're going to be sitting at a slant. So I want your hips to come all the way under that chair so that your shoulders are directly over your hips. Making that adjustment, and then extend your arms up, reaching up. Extend the arm fully, lift up, and as you lift, drop the hips, move the head of the femur bone down, inner knees down, spread out through the feet, extend the heels, and then start to bend the elbows. Pause there, lift the chest, and then again, bring one hand over. Again, lifting outer arms firm from those lower back ribs. Lift, lengthen the lower back, lift up through the chest, and then maybe this time you're going to find that it seems easier. So just preparing the arms and the shoulders for that work. Press the forearms up, move the shoulders down, lift the back of the head, and look up. As you descend the thighs, feel that right at the pit of the abdomen, you're lifting up, lower back lifting to the middle back, to the upper back. Outer arms moving in. If you have any kind of constriction in your neck, any kind of area that is tight there and that doesn't feel right, just keep your head up, but maintain the lift of the chest. So this is the front armpit chest. Front armpit chest is lifting, back armpit chest is descending. So there's that circular action. Okay, so now we're going to take the chair away, or we're going to keep the chair, actually, and just come up, take your blanket away. You can move your strap out of the way. We're going to use this front chair seat to inform us of that upper back again. So coming down, you're going to go into downward dog and take your hands underneath the chair. So you'll have to find the right distance for yourself. Fingers are wide, fingers facing the wall, pressing into the index finger. And then you're going to come up. So I'm a little bit close, so I'm going to bring my hands back, and then I'm going to lift up. Okay, so I want that chair. So I'm lifting up, and now I'm walking my hands in toward the wall a little bit. I want the chair right there at the top of the shoulders. Walking the feet away. If you're not touching the chair, walk the feet in more, walk the hands away. And then turn the hands. So the thumb is pressing down, index finger is pressing down, and as you do that, you're getting a rotation on the upper arm and the upper shoulder. So you're turning the hands, hands are well grounded, lifting up from the elbows, and then lifting the shoulders up and away. If you've got some opening there, you can walk your feet in a little bit. Look forward toward the wall. So you're lengthening the neck, top of the shoulders moving away, extending the head. Keep the legs active. And then come down. Okay, so now you're going to take the chair away. Just keep it handy. We'll use it again later. Okay, so coming back without the chair, we're just going to look at the distance of our arms. All right, so hands shoulder width apart. We want to spread the hands. In the last one, we turned the hands out. Here, you're going to bring your forearm onto the floor, and then you're going to bring your hands close and just spread the palm, spread this webbing, and see that the hands are in line with the upper arm, the forearm, the shoulders. So that's about the distance that you want. So not too wide, not too close. And then just bring your knees back a bit. Press into the hands. Press into the forearms. Keep the inner wrist moving down. So the inner wrist likes to lift up. Press the inner wrist down. And then you're going to lift the legs. So turn the toes under. Press the hands. You can even stretch through the front of the palm. You can see how it's starting to shorten there. So press the front of the wrist, the heel of the hand away from the wrist. And then bring the hands down, and then lift up, So come onto the toes. Just let your head hang to begin with. So the neck is long. Feel the weight on the forearms, the fingers, little finger side of the hand as well. Press the arms and lift up through the side trunk. So as you press the arms, you want to get a nice lift through the outer arm. And where we could feel in the chair where we were pressing the arms together, I want you to move the outer arms towards the center of your mat. So in other words, from your outer, very outer arms, you're moving so you can feel the skin moving into the flesh, into the bone. And then, as if you were feeling that chair again, start to walk your feet in, bring your shoulders away. Keep your toes pressing down, lift your heels, lift your knees. And then come down. And just extend forward. Have a break there, a few breaths. We're going to do that again. So you're going to bring your arms down. Press down. Bring your feet together. And then bring one leg up. And as you lift up, move your chest back towards your back leg. Where that chair was, feel the upper back. Move the upper back away from the wall. And then coming down, you're going to switch legs. So bring the toes together. Come back to the awareness of the hands. Press down. And then lift up. Feel the elbows. Press into the forearm. Lift up through the upper arm. And then reach that leg up. You extend. And then come down. Okay, so now you can feel your arms working, I'm sure. So next we're going to take a block. So often we take the block to keep the hands in place. So you might have noticed the elbows were moving out. So now I'm going to take this strap off the chair. So you can get your strap ready. Take it off the chair, and you're going to bring it shoulders width apart. Okay? So I'm going to unbuckle it, and then I'll rebuckle it and have it so that I can keep my elbows in line. So as you do that, just aware, if your shoulders are tight, you may take the strap a little bit wider. Just don't get it too close. So you want to press into it. Strap is above the elbow, and you're going to be in this position. Okay? So here, it's actually a little harness for me. I'm going to bring the hands down onto the floor. Press the hands and press the thumb against the block. So I have the block parallel to the wall. I'm spreading the fingers so the index finger is on the outside of the block. The thumb, then I walk the hands in. The thumb is there on the front of the block. So I can use that connection of the block and that connection to the wall to press into. Okay? Now, if you're wide, your shoulders are quite wide, and your blocks are not so long, and you want to have more distance, you can take your blocks like this. Now, this is going to make wider horizontally. So if you have quite broad shoulders, then you can do that. So you're going to take your hands, and again, bring your inner wrist down. So maybe you found that that inner wrist was lifting up. So let's just turn the hands this way and press the lower wrist down. Okay, so we have all different positions for the hands. It's good for the shoulders to get that different movement. Press the hands and then come back up, pressing the lower wrist, press the forearms, and then lift up with the hips. As you lift up, be reminded of where that chair was. Move the shoulders away. Press the toes. Lift the hips up. Let the head hang to begin with. So you're going to keep the head looking toward the block. But first, lift your shoulders, lengthen the back of the head, and look up. So if you found your head on the floor and it didn't raise up, just be aware that when you go into it, you need to lift the head first. So start with the shoulders moving away. Start with that length through the back of the neck. Press the hands. And as you look back at the block, back at the wall, press your arms and keep the head lifted, pressing down, lift the shoulders up, beyond the toes. Press into that strap and create that broadness through the upper back. And then come down. Just go into forward Virasana. You can bring your hands against the wall. Rest your head on that strap. Okay, now, I don't really need that block. This block is fine for me. So I'm going to tighten my strap a bit. I had the strap accommodating that wider horizontal block and a half. So now I'm going to turn the hands, have the palms facing up, and bring that thumb side down. So I'm really going to get this rotation of the upper arm and keep the forearm pressing down. Okay, I'm there. Turn the toes under, press the forearms, press the thumbs down, and lift up. Again, looking up, looking back at that block. You can start to walk the toes in, shoulder blades in, lift up. If your neck gets sore, then just let it hang just a bit, but not on the floor. Pressing down, lift the shoulders up, and as you can, look back at the block. And come down. So we're trying many different variations to get that opening into the shoulders and that warmth in the shoulders. Now we're going to face the wall. You can have your block again. So you're going to come down. You can use the belt again. Maybe you found that handy. We use the belt so the elbows don't splay apart. We also use the block to keep the hands from moving in. So without it, this is an action you get. So until you get enough practice where you can bring that firmness to the outer arms and that firmness to the downward action of the arms, use the belt. Okay, let's just look at our hands again. So placing the hands around the block, rotate the forearm so you feel the weight on the inner hand. Elbows are facing one another. While you do that, get that turning of the upper arm, upper shoulder. So you're going to use the strap to press out into, turn the inner upper arm, and then bring both feet up onto the wall. So you have the full weight on the hands now. Pressing down, lift up through the forearm, reach the legs up, shoulder blades in toward the chest, and then come down. Okay, we're going to do that again now. You're going to take your forearms onto the floor, as in Pincha Mayurasana. So rearrange the hands. One thing just to be aware of, that this wrist shrinks. So press the wrist down and lengthen the heel of the hand away. Press that down and then come up. Bring both legs up. Now keep the legs firm, as if you were holding a block between the legs. Bring the shoulders in. Moving the hips toward the center a bit, move the chest toward the wall. And then come down. Okay. Now you're going to take the chair. Move the chair back to the wall. Okay, I've brought my chair to the wall, and I just brought a strap around the chair. So if I press into this chair, it's going to collapse. So I put the strap on the bottom ring, and the top here. And then just bring that to the wall. Okay, if before I want to use this front of the chair for my shoulder blades, so if I press into it, without that strap, this particular chair will fold. Okay, so if you have a regular chair meant for Iyengar yoga, you're going to have probably the same thing. Okay, so now press against the chair, make sure it's secure. You can take your block. Okay, in this case, because I need one strap for the chair, I'm going to take a second strap, and I'll bring that around my arms like we were using before. Okay, so now here in Pincha Mayurasana, I'm just going to use the chair to move this back rib cage in, shoulder blades in, and get that lift of the chest. So we'll use that chair seat to bring more heightened awareness there. So you're going to come under the chair, press your hands down, come onto the toes, lift up, and then you're going to start to walk your feet in. Now, there, the resistance of the chair I can feel. So I'm lifting my chest, feeling the chair press into the shoulder blades, and at the same time, keep the head lifted, lengthening, press the arms down, keep the legs straight, kneecaps lifted, inner thighs rolling back. Look back toward the wall. And then come down. So sometimes we do this in class with partners. We'll take our one partner be at the wall, move the shoulder blades in, and the person doing the pose, they'll walk in like I just walked my legs in. So we'll do it one more time. This time, see, I'm going to lift one leg, and then I'll lift the other leg. See if we can lift up. So you can, it's a journey, so you don't have to lift up today. Press the hands down, press the wrists down, and come in. Walk forward, look up, bend one knee, and lift one leg up. So use that one bent knee and that foot to give you a little bit of springing action and lift the leg up. Okay? And then to come down, we're going to do the other leg. Turn the toes under. Walk in until you can feel that chair seat. Resist it. Move the back away. Look forward. And then bend one knee, springing off that leg. Getting the leg lifted, keeping the firmness on the leg. Reaching up. Okay? So we're not going to use the chair to lift up. You can do that, but we won't do that today, so you can do that on your own. We're going to take the chair away, and now we're going to see we can go into Pincha Mayurasana without the chair, but with that awareness of the upper back, awareness of the legs. So one more thing we're going to do here. We're going to bring the block between the legs. Okay, so the legs are important. When you bring the legs up, they need to be active. So I'm going to bring the strap again and move the block to the wall. So from here, lifting up, squeeze the block. So I'm gripping the block, and from the mounds of the toes, I'm lifting to the inner ankle, to the heel, from the inner foot to the inner knee, and now I'm lifting the block from the inner knee to the pelvis, gripping the block and moving the shoulders away from that imaginary chair. You can walk in a little bit, depending on your shoulders, what you can feel. So just be careful if you're very stiff in your shoulders. Again, it's a process. So practicing this way will help you to get that awareness, get that mobility, staying safe. So only practice what you're capable of doing today. Everyone's a little bit different. Okay, I'm bringing the strap back on, taking the hands to the block, spreading the fingers, bring the inner wrist down, forearm down, coming up, looking up, be on the toes, and now with that same action of one knee bending and one foot pressing, you can press up any amount. Maybe the first time you do it, you just try and kick toward that wall. See if you can get the heel to kick toward the wall. Okay? Now, one thing I didn't tell you, so I could feel my elbows. I didn't fold the mat. So we usually fold the mat or have a blanket. So I'm going to take this extra mat that I have and fold it. So at this point, if you were feeling the elbows were pressing down into the floor too much, you can take that mat. Okay, so then I'm going to start with the block there. So there's a little bit more cushioning. Bring your hands onto the mat. One thing about the mat, if you take the mat in fours, it might be a little narrow for you. So if you had to bring your shoulders there to fit on the mat, you can turn here, but then they might not fit all the way, depending on your forearms. So just take your mat and fold it in 3. Okay, so it's a little bit wider in case your forearms are long. And then fold the mat back. That should be enough. So now there's more distance from here to here, and it's broad across horizontally. And then take your block. So always taking time to make sure that whatever you're experiencing in your body, that you understand what's happening and how you can make some sort of modification to help you be in the pose better. Okay, so always taking that time, not being in a hurry. You have each day, so practicing. Okay, now I'm pressing the hands down, forearms down. Okay, turn the toes under, press the arms down. And now we're going to see, can you bring one leg up? So lifting. And then press up. You're going to look back at the block. So kick up, kick up, kick up, and then change legs. Now just making sure your strap's not too narrow. If that's constraining you, you just come down and adjust your strap. Then go up with the other leg. Kick and bounce. Okay? Okay, let's try going up now. So you can have one more go at it. If you're not able to go up, then just bring the heel to the wall and come down. And then again, try with the other leg. First, bringing the chest back. Press the arms down. Bend one knee. Press the thumb into the block so you can feel the hands are active. Kick up. Keep that upper back where it was at the chair. Moving in, stretch the legs up. Move the forearms down, inner wrist. Press up into the mounds of the toes. As if you were holding that block. Lift the chest. Tailbone into the body. And then coming down. Come into forward virasana. Stay with your breath. Let your breath relax. Extend your arms. Okay, so we had many different progressions on looking at the arms, looking at the hands, the distance for the arms and the hands, the movement of the chest, the lift of the legs, and so you can practice that on your own. So now you're going to take your block and come into Chaturpadasana. So you lay down, bring your toes to the wall. Balance the hips. Okay, so you're on your hips. I've got the block between the legs, so hold the block. You're going to squeeze the block. If that's too narrow and you need to take your feet wider, then just take the block into that wider width. Bring your toes in. Press your arms down, and then take your hands on the side of the mat. From there, you're going to press up. And I want you to roll the shoulders under. So we're getting that movement of the upper shoulder, inner arms rolling, lifting the armpit chest. And then press into that block. Move the tailbone into the body. Press into the feet. Lift the outer knees, outer hips. Keep pressing. So you're gripping the outer thighs and lifting up. So lifting the lower block to the upper block. Lift the chest. Press the arms down. And then come down. And then bring the feet in slightly. So my heels are lifted now. I'm going to come onto my arms, so I'm coming onto the tops of the shoulders. And I'm going to take my hands underneath my heels, rotate the arms, still holding that block. Press the block, press the heels down. So you can feel Chaturpadasana is 4 point. The pressure is on 4 points, both of the feet and both shoulders. So press down evenly, get that lift of the chest. Right where we had that chair earlier, move the back rib cage in, lift the chest, press the heels, lengthen the fronts of the thighs, tailbone moving in, holding that block. And now as you press the feet, lift from the inner knee to the inner pelvis. So you can feel the block moving toward the pelvis. Breathe. And then come down. All right. So one more of that movement and that imprint of the upper back. Okay. So now you're going to come down, take your block, and be maybe a foot away from the wall. You're going to sit on the block. And I'll bring my right leg back. I want to have both knees on the mat, so come back enough that when you take this other leg, you're going to have the ankle on the arch of the bottom foot. And then just adjust the pelvis. So the sitting bone closest to the wall, spread that buttocks. This sitting bone is able to just drop down. It's right on the inside of the ankle. So the knees are moving down, thighs are moving down. And we're coming into this twist, Bharvajasana, by using the wall, fingertips at the wall, hips descending, especially this outer left hip, as I'm going to be lifting up and turning. Use the fingers at the wall to get the lift of the chest. And where we were working with that dorsal spine, move that in and lift up. Use your inhalation to extend up. Press the knees, press the thighs, outer hips moving down, lower back lifting. With your inhalation, exhale, turn. So when you're turning, when you're lifting, maintain the movement of the shoulders downward as you lift up through the crown of the head. Still keeping the knees down, so even though you are lifting up, have your mind in the foundation. So you use the foundation to create some space and turn. So staying with your breath, using that extended inhalation, and then that exhalation, and then just be there and breathe normally. Don't untwist, but stay with that movement that you've gained. And then again, inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn. So from the root, the tailbone, to the crown of the head, to the shoot, lengthen up. As you press the fingers, widen through the collarbones, dropping the shoulders, and then release. Okay, you're going to bring your legs out now and turn to do the other side. So as I shift on that block, I'm now bringing my left foot. I'll have to bring the block a little bit further away. So when you sit on the block, not being too close to the wall or too far away. How will you know? If you're too close to the wall, you'll be leaning into the wall or moving away from the wall. All right, thighs down, tailbone down, femur bone moving down. As you move this thigh down, you can feel the weight of the ankle into the arch of the lower foot. Press the knees, move the thighs down, inhale, lift, exhale, turn. Feel that broadness come through the back. So we've done a lot of back bending. We always want to combine some twisting action to release the back. So stay with that quiet breath. And turn. All right, and then release. And you just come into Paschimottanasana now. So you can have a blanket or a block. I'll take a blanket. I'm going to sit on the blanket. Bring the feet to the wall. And first, reach forward. So you're getting that length through the lower back. Thighs are descending. Now I have two blocks here, so depending on what you need, I'm going to bring my head onto the block. You can take a second block and you can build it up. So first you'll come forward, keep that action through the legs, descending so that the lower back can lengthen, hinging from the hips. You can take your hands on your ankles, and then I'll bring the forehead onto the block. You can try that. You can bring the block down one notch and work at it in different degrees. So you're lengthening the calves, releasing the head. It's higher than you need, then bring the block down. You can also use a bolster across the legs. Release the head on the bolster. So just let that nice broadness come to the lower back, spreading through the sacral area, but also lengthening through the lower back, middle back, and relax the shoulders. Have enough support for your head, that your head is not hanging, so that this cervical area is not strained. You can also have the blocks underneath the elbows. Have your hands on your ankles, and then a block for your head. So I've only got two blocks here, but here, if you want to stay for a little while, you can support the elbows and relax the head. Okay, and then we'll come up. And you can take Shavasana now at the wall. So bring your hips to the wall. If your shoulders are still tight after this, have a blanket for your head. If you're okay, just bring your hips to that side hip there. And then roll the hips toward the wall. Roll your shoulders under and bring the thighs to face forward, backs of the legs at the wall. And just allow the chest to relax down, inner arms to roll out. You can have a couple blocks right at your abdominal area. And just be there. You can also use the blocks on your feet, which will help to bring more weight into the pelvis, lower back on the floor. If you're on your own and you have blocks, you can bring the blocks up and then carefully slide the blocks up the wall, Of course, you're going to have to come out the same way. If you have someone there that can help you, you can bring the blocks right onto your heels, onto the mounds of your toes, and then stretch your heels up toward the ceiling, and have the weight of the blocks on the feet release down into the calves, into the thighs. And just be there. So the practice today was not much in preparing for doing a back bend, so I would advise just to use this as a tutorial. So when you've been doing a practice, some standing poses, you're warmed up, then you can add this to it. Okay? Bring your arms out to the side, relax the arms, and just allow yourself to be there. Just allow the weight of the legs to descend down, and then let your exhalation become longer. Namaste.